The Crime in India 2023 report of the National Crime Research Bureau paints a very troubling and grim picture for Tamil Nadu as well. While the state has seen a decline in overall violent crimes, offences targeting Dalits and children have risen sharply. Cases registered under the Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes Prevention of Atrocity Act rose from 1761 in 2022 to 1921 in 2023. That is 9% increase in just a span of 1 year. Looked at over a longer horizon, the surge is even starker. Cases have climbed 68% in 5 years from just over 1,100 in 2019. That's the statistics showing. Crimes against children followed a similar upward trend. The state registered 6,968 cases in 2023, up from 6,580 the year before. I mean, that is some increase, I must say. Chennai also mirrored this pattern, recording a jump from 514 to 573 cases. Experts warn that this reflects serious gaps in social protection, policing, and child safety systems. Tamil Nadu's overall crime rate may stand at 264.9 per lakh population, just below the national average of 270.3. But that's hardly any good news. The numbers don't reflect safety. They reveal how the state's most vulnerable groups have been pushed further down the drain. The contrast is sharp. While violent crimes have fallen, offences against Dalits and children have risen, expanding deep social fault lines. The NCRB data offers little comfort, if anything. It is a warning Tamil Nadu needs to pay heed to, and also the streets, which may look safer on paper, but its weakest, continue to face growing threats in silence. I am going across to the experts and guest people who worked a lot in this field. Shalin Maria Lawrence, who's an author and social activist, and Brinda Digge, also a social activist. Thanks both for joining us on this broadcast. Good to see more women, on the panel. I'm always happy when there are women on the panel. Just fed up of mansplaining all the time. So, Shalin, we've discussed this many times and I shan't let it go because it's not a story that one can say, oh, it keeps happening. No, I'm not even doing this because it's the election year, 2026. But it shows what the complexion of a state is, which talks about equality, casteless society, talks about securing the safety and dignity of the marginalized. Tamil Nadu, and particularly the Dravida Munnetra Kazhagam, the DMK. What is this statistic, Shalin Maria Lawrence? Dalits and children, the two most vulnerable groups, as it were.
Yeah, I have been talking about this for the last 3 years. I've been constantly talking about how the violence on women and Dalits and children have been increasing. But every time there is one media survey which comes out, which is sponsored by the DMK government, they come out and say, "Oh, Tamil Nadu is very progressive. Women are very safe." And then you have survey of women, videos coming out released from Tamil Nadu IT wing, especially Penn, the one owned by the son-in-law of Stalin. So they release videos of women saying, "Oh, we are very, safe here, safe here." I just have to tell them, what? Intersectionality. Just think intersectionally. How many Dalits are being affected here? Because as activists, every day we see violence on women, we see violence on children, and then we see violence on SC/ST, people. So we're asking the government, why are you lying so much? But end of the day, all the media, I'll tell you who's responsible. First is the government, because the government is total administrative failure. The law and order has gone, hazard. It's haphazard, and then Stalin highly failed in maintaining the law and order. Even 2 days back in Tiruvannamalai, two police constable have gone ahead and raped a Adivasi teen in front of gang raped her in front of her sister in the guise of inquiry, and Stalin kept quiet until EPS raised voice about it. And now rape has become normalized in Tamil Nadu because the chief minister, the minister of the police forces, does not care about women or anybody, especially Dalits. And then when you talk about Dalits, we're having so many violence and discrimination on Dalits, and we activists have been saying how it's been increased threefold. This number in NCRB is the number given by the state. It's given by the Home Secretary of the state.
Yeah, but
So
Shalin, a
this
lot of activists say that, oh, these numbers are there because they are getting reported. I don't agree at all. I mean,
yeah,
yes,
yeah,
there
yeah,
could
that's
be
what
a
I'm
bit of
saying.
an anomaly. Two can
That's
become
what I'm
three,
saying.
two cannot become
This
12.
yeah,
Sorry.
this number is the
Sorry.
number of getting reported, but this is only one third of the actual cases.
Yes.
That's how we should take it, which means there is threefold increase. And also, when number of cases are getting reported, which also means those cases are happening, then like fools, there are people from Dravidar Kadagam, women from Dravidar Kadagam, stalwarts like Arunmodi go on public media and she talks about how safe Tamil Nadu is because it's getting reported. It's getting reported because it's happening, madam. You come to the road. You come from Dravidar Kadagam, Veeramani, Arulmodi, Kanimodi, Stalin. Just walk out of your palaces, come down to the road and see how an ordinary person is getting affected. Because I am
Absolutely.
getting affected. I am also one of the victims because my people are getting affected. Now, end of the day, the violence on women, children, especially by close group, relatives have increased. The main reason is they think, oh, I can go to the police and I can give them money and they will leave me. And conviction rates are very less. 5% for SCST, 5% for women related crimes and
All
children
right.
related crimes.
All right. Brinda Digge, let me bring you here. Low conviction rate. And Shalin Maria has done a lot of research on this. But Brinda Digge, I want you to look at the statistics. In 5 years, which is 2022 to 2023, in 1 year, and again, this 5 year gap, 2019 to 2023, it's become 68%, Brinda Digge. It is atrocious. Dalits and children. And I'm talking mainly about Dalits because I've done, along with Shalin Maria Lawrence, several stories. Every day you hear of some school kid being beaten, some kid being cut by a sickle because of this caste fighting, and also because, one caste, intermediary caste. So what is Tamil Nadu talking about Samutavam and, equality and everything? I think Prevention of Atrocities Act 1973 does not exist in Tamil Nadu, Brinda Digge.
It does not exist anywhere in India, Sudha. We only have it as an act. Any police station, whether it is my state or your state or anywhere else in India, the police are least bothered to register cases under that. It is a very, very stringent act. And it is non-bailable, compoundable. And so often we need to keep in mind that we as a society have entrenched caste discrimination and violence in our hearts and minds and language and behavior and everything. And Tamil Nadu is no different. But you also see that the system does not do anything about it. We have many films and it will run for weeks and months together about caste atrocities. But look at the system. Not a single person has been pulled up for not registering a case or filing a shoddy case, or the judge has ever been the judgment given has never been reviewed and brought back to court. So there is this entire impunity that is there with the entire system, and that means with the people, because you continuously reiterate land issues which have lands that have been given by the government. Also you find that the so-called dominant caste people wanting to take it will take it violently. But the other side is also the mobility, the advancement, education, and the assertiveness that Dalits have been doing over the last 10, 15 years.
Right.
Now, that is irking everyone.
Yes.
You're a Dalit, you're not supposed to open your mouth. Forget open your mouth. You're not supposed to know English. You're not supposed to dress in a certain manner. And hence, you can't walk on my street. You can't drive a car. You cannot. There's so many cannots. So it is the state on one side, and then you have the entire society that takes it upon themselves to police Dalits.
Surprised,
And that
Brinda
is where
Digge. If you see the history of DK, I mean Dravida Kazhagam and then DMK, the party came up because of this very fact that down with Brahmanism and let us make others more empowered. But I think, maybe it was just initial politics and then it just petered off. Shalin Maria Lawrence, don't you think that in the present dispensation with, Tol Tirumavallavan, which is VCK, his MPs are there, and also the Congress, which is, led by a Dalit leader. Things don't seem to be moving at all, because somewhere I think, I mean, please correct me if I'm wrong, man, apologies in advance. I think the government wants to keep this burning, to keep this alive. Maybe a few people in the government think this is how it should be. Let them be vulnerable forever.
When this actually also increases, you have to see, I'm seeing the visuals. Armstrong, the
Yes.
Dalit leader, a state president of a national party, BSP. Is there in any part of India, does this happen that he was killed in front of his home and it
Right.
was covered in CCTV just next to a police station? This kind of, a free pass has been given to people to, kill Dalits. They can go ahead and purge us. And one of the main reasons, as you said, Tirumavallavan, and, one cause is that, yes, they want, the OBCs have replaced the Brahmins politically. The OBC power exists here. The 60% have replaced the 3%, but the 60% is unleashing so much of violence on the 30% Dalit living there. And end of the day, they don't want to, they're new Brahmins. They don't want to change the status quo, right? They want these issues to be keep on burning, so that, as Sudha Dige Akka said, that, we will not mobilize. There'll not be social mobility, because we'll be constantly looking after ourselves by not being killed, right? We'll be very protective of ourselves. We'll not venture out. We'll not risk our lives, because a great leader like Armstrong has been killed. And one of the great reason is Tirumavallavan parties, Dalit parties, Tirumavallavan and Selva Perunthagai, a Dalit head of the Congress party in Tamil Nadu. We all celebrated him. Everybody are silent spectators along with DMK. Unfortunately, they have become the coalition partners of DMK. So whatever DMK does, whatever happens to Dalits, yes, they're like sitting ducks.
Fine,
They're sitting
but
and watching us getting killed.
Yes.
And media, the Godi media, they say, oh, Godi media of Modi. All the media in Tamil Nadu, to big gaya. They are sold out. They become laptops of Tamil Nadu government, DMK. And that's the reason the violence is still continuing on us.
Yes, and Brinda Digger, tell me something. Is it a deliberate attempt? Is there a conspiracy, Brinda? Because there is a law in place, I say, Brinda, where you can bring prevention of atrocity. What is the DM doing? What is the police personnel doing in districts for these statistics to come down? Therefore, I said, is it an attempt, a deliberate attempt to keep this burning despite Selva Perunthagai, despite Tol Tirumavallavan, despite Muka Stalin, Brinda Digge?
Yes, it is a deliberate attempt. Yes, it is a conspiracy. Yes, it is an arrogance of power that nobody is going to challenge them and question them. There is a Shalin here, there is a Sudha and a Brinda. We discussed these things, but we are not able to reach to those masses. And there are a small group of people who are raising their voice, and that is what is getting to them to say that we will not spare you. And the 60% of OBCs who are there have money, have influence, have connections. So they can go about doing something like this. And you have the ruling dispensation very scared of touching these people, because probably these are the ones who also fund their political campaigns and whatever it might be. So the SC/ST Atrocity Act is there, but nobody will enforce it. The police are again sitting there as puppets. You have the judiciary. What is the State Human Rights Commission doing? What is the National Human Rights Commission doing? What is the Dalit and the minority commissions over there doing? All of them are just sitting there, silent spectators, apathetic, not accountable to anybody. Even though we are also voters and we are tax-paying citizens. A lot of lip service from the powers that be, but nothing to ensure our safety. Nobody is asking them charity. It is you put that law in place. And that's what the cops are being paid for. That's what judges and prosecutors get paid for. And if you are not able to protect your people, then what are you there for?
Shalin Maria, before I let both of you women go, ladies go, Shalin Maria, why is it that most of the custodial deaths, when you look at it very sharply, most of them are Dalits? I'm sorry. If I'm wrong, I'll apologize to you. But I've read Case studies of
90% Dalits. That's the
Yeah.
data from
90%.
People's Watch, from Henry also.
Yes.
Now the thing is, not just that, the police also categorize people according to their caste in Chennai and metro cities in Tamil Nadu, and they also give them false cases on those premises. That's been done. Now the major thing is you have to see the police system from the late 70s until now. There is this one particular OBC caste, the Maravas. That particular caste has been given more prominent roles in the police department, and there is a long-standing violence discrimination, which it is there between people from south, from those communities, and the pariahs and Dalits and the Arthadis. So that equation has to be considered, why so much of people from certain castes have been given high police positions, and why there's so much of custodial torture and violence on these Dalit young men and women. So this is something which we need to understand, that DMK and ADMK are no different. They are the same when it comes to appointment of police, and when it comes to commissions. You know what? By far, I'll tell you something. During DMK's period, even the Dalit NGOs who were constantly fighting for Dalits have gone silent. I don't know what has happened in between. I'm telling you because I'm working with few of them. Suddenly they've dropped silent, dead silent, and they're just tweeting and posting and doing Facebook
maybe
ads.
they are scared. I'm sorry,
They're just
but you
scared.
you had one
Yeah.
of the best activists. I don't want to name him, but I have been in touch, and I know most of them from Tamil Nadu. They are scared. I mean,
They're scared.
journalists are
Everybody
being
is
picked
scared.
up.
Everybody's scared.
Everyone, yeah, there is a
Everybody's scared.
fear mongering
But the-
which is going on. Let's now shift focus, Brinda Adige, to the children. Karur happened, politics happened over it. Who's to be blamed? He did this. That's another story. Very, very tragic. 11 children died. One toddler, Guru Vishnu, he was what, 18 months old? You spoke about Human Rights Commission. Just the Child Rights Commission have laws not to take children to such rallies. I think there was one law which was formulated in 2017, back then. From then to now, why is it that we are exposing our children to such horrendous rallies? What will an 18-month, okay, I'm the mother, I can't leave the baby somewhere. Don't go. But other than that, Brinda Adige, what about the rights of children? Why should my child or anyone else's child go there to die?
We are now living in an era where we've made demigods of all actors. We worship across South India, you see this. Worshipping them, pouring milk on them, their cutouts and statues, and somewhere I heard there is a temple also for some actor. Now, that is the kind of frenzy that has been created, and that frenzy is maintained. So, men or women, it does not matter. There is this frenzy fan following that is going there. But nobody has told. I would have liked the actors, the leaders to say, children and women, don't come to my rally. There will be crowd. And I do not want you to come there. We will see each other again in another space, another time. But for now, don't come. But then nobody makes those kind of statements, because that would be a responsible, ethical statement, but nobody makes those statements. Now, you spoke about that rule. That's more of a guideline from the Supreme Court, in fact.
Juvenile Justice Act also, Brinda.
The Juvenile Justice Act talks about protection of children.
So where
And
is that?
That means we want the Child Welfare Committee and the child police. There are, child-friendly police in every police station.
Right.
They are supposed to be the ones not only going around making those announcements, but ensuring that children coming in, whichever age, with the mother, with the father, if they are children which is up under 18. So we are talking of, 0 to 18 years old. No, not even a 16, 17-year-old can say, I can manage myself.
Right.
That's very clear. So what did the police do? Why did they not do it? Now we want to ask these questions. Somebody will say, police are very busy trying to keep everybody safe. But you also have this guideline and law to prevent accidents happening, to
Right.
prevent children
But
being
obviously, the
abused.
Tamil Nadu government has failed miserably because they do not bring this law, they do not enforce this law. The Juvenile Justice Act says if you are unable, the organizers, the parents, and other people, if they fail to protect a child, then there is an imprisonment and also a fine. So there you have it. crime against kids are anyway increasing. There is sexual assault, there is molestation, plus we take them to rallies and they die there. So Tamil Nadu is actually, if you look at it, on the index of giving safety and security, is failing miserably, is what my contention is here. You know, Shalin Maria Lawrence, is the only solution a change in government? I don't think so. Quickly tell us before I let you go.
So if you're going to ask me as a political commentator, the change in government is not going to do a lot of things.
Yeah.
But if DMK, extends for another rule, there'll be more issues, because I'm saying it will give them a lot of power, just like how BJP has got a lot of power. Keeping that aside, a lot of cultural change should come. DMK, Tamil Nadu itself, the educated people should stop and say, let me analyze what my state is up to. I'm still taking dowry. I'm still molesting women. I'm still raping women. We are still teasing women. There was this girl just went with the one sleeveless dress. She was,
I know, Coimbatore.
killed. Yeah. So Tamil Nadu is not progressive at all.
Not
Don't
at
do
all.
this progressive
It's an
thing.
eyewash.
Yeah. So what I want is, like, women, listen to women leaders. I'm a woman leader. Binda Adhikes is a woman leader. You're a woman leader. Listen to women, men. Listen to us. We know what is right, what is wrong. Because we not just care about us. We care about all genders. We care about children. We care about all castes. And we're telling you, take instructions from us.
But that's not going to happen.
We are ready.
Sorry.
Because I take class every year.
Yeah.
I take class. How
Of course you're ready. Of course Brinda is
we are
very
ready.
capable. But I'm so
They
sorry
will not ask.
it ain't happening. Because if it were, then Stalin would listen to Kanimuri, and Kanimuri wouldn't just give him advice when he wants her to give advice. Look at the percentage of women in the DMK.